Hello everyone, welcome back for more Let's Play Battletech. Joining me is JKLantern.
I am going to pilot a death trap.
If we get to rename anybody, yes you will.
Command interface initiated.
So, we have camera movement. And we can rotate the camera, like in just about every major, like in every major first-person or third-person shooter ever, you have that. But we don't actually move the mechs with that. We'll go through all the commands here.
Yep.
But Raju here says, okay, he had the Espinosa refit yards rush the repairs on the Blackjack. Looks like it's all in one piece, but we need to run diagnostics. AKA, we need you to learn the controls of this damn game. Okay.
This is funny to me because the Blackjack actually had a reputation for being poorly built, even though it wasn't. Like, people were like, oh, its feet are narrow and it falls over, and the armor just falls off. So, for a long time, nobody actually liked it, but it turns out it's decent mech.
So, basically,
I'll come right out and say it, kid. I wasn't completely honest with you the other day. There's gonna be more to this job than escort duty.
are you going to say anything more than that? No? Fair enough. But yeah, when we have a full lance, we will be able to select between them as long as they have movement left or what have you. Also, you can see our weapon loadout here. We do have a melee button, which, while the Blackjack is not exactly a melee powerhouse, there are mechs that are. But we have 2 AC2s, 4 medium lasers, and if you look over here, we can see basically the status of our mech at any given time, which tells you one thing: you do not want to start getting pummeled from the back. You have
do not.
no ability to absorb much there.
Yeah, generally your rear armor is going to be thinner than your front armor, although some mechs beef up their rear in exchange for front armor. Some mechs are actually armed with rear-firing weapons, which are useful, as I found out playing the tabletop game.
But also, we do have jump jets of value 4. I believe that's how many vertical units you can move with them.
I'm trying to remember what I mean, I suppose I could grab my technical readout 3039 and compare it to the canon stats and try to figure out what it means, but that's all the way in my bathroom, so I'd have to go all the way over there to grab that.
Yeah. And then, down here you have the actions you can take. For the first turn of the game, all we can do is move, because that's all the game lets us do right now. And it tells you how to do that. Move the mouse to the indicated point, click once to select where you wish to move, and then click again to choose which direction to face when you get there.
And that is actually very important in the tabletop game, which this is based on.
And see, you only have so much your body can turn at any given point.
Yep.
Because it's not going to let us turn full 360. It won't let us. I mean, it will let us turn full 360 if we pick a shorter move distance, I believe. We'll have to see later. It will not let us pick that right now, because it wants us to do a very specific thing.
Basically, turning 360 is not just you torso twisting, it's also you stepping to move, and then...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
I remember vividly in one of the novels, one of the crappier novels, a group of people sabotaged one of the enemy mechs by, like, taking some screws and some bolts out of it. So, like, when it started firing, its torso also started twisting from recoil, and also it didn't have the lock to stop. Oh, there goes an Irby.
Enemy mech destroyed.
So that was round 1. So again, we have to... The thing is, you have to do your move in stages. You have to move, and then you have to fire.
And that's how the tabletop game works as well.
So
and...
you also notice we did build up some heat doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It will dissipate if, say, we walk down there in that lake, or what have you.
And depending on how far you move, that also impacts how much heat you build. If you walk, you build up less heat than if you sprint.
And there's something wrong in the capital, which is the real reason we were brought here. And the captain is kind of worried about the successor's safety during the coronation.
And
I'm
we're
sure
the
that
best
means-
of the cheapest.
Yeah, we are the best they could get for free,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And I'm sure that means absolutely nothing and everything will be perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
Except it actually made me do that earlier, so, you know, we already tested, but we
Like
will
I
go
was
ahead and
saying,
shoot another one.
Can't prove anything, but my gut tells me something's off, and a warrior trusts their instincts.
If I had multiple targets, I could tab to pick which one I wanted to shoot. And also, if I don't want to fire something, I just unclick it.
So, a little bit about the weapons. The autocannons come in various sizes and flavors. They're basically big dagga guns. The AC-2 does plink damage. It does literally 2 damage, which is not much. But the AC-2 can also reach out and touch a guy. And if you get very lucky, which I did in a tabletop game against my brother, you can get something called the Golden BB Shot. You get a through armor critical, which basically means you shot in a crack in the mech and somehow managed to hit something important.
Hey, if you can hit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Raju is basically just still worried about Lady Arano. Who has a helper named Lady Victoria, who is also a strong mech warrior. Supposedly reminds him of us for some strange reason.
I found something I object to, but I'm going to allow it.
She is like a daughter to me, and her late father, High Lord Tamati, was a good friend.
Well, let's see.
All weapons emitted.
It's hard to actually hit that thing.
Cover does that.
Yep. It's not giving me an option to move. I guess I'm exactly where it wants me to be right now.
Huh. So the Blackjack was built as an anti-insurgency mech, whatever the hell that means.
Enemy mech destroyed.
It's made by General Motors. You heard me correctly. And is built, or at this time was primarily built in the Federated Suns. Capellan Confederation also has a factory for it eventually. Series Mechworks, I think, builds it as well. But this version of it has jump jets, the 2 AC-2s, and the 4 medium lasers. And it's a surprisingly solid mech.
They were kids. Aside from you, there's no one I'd rather have by my side in a fight.
So we get to see what jump jets do. You click jump, And you have various places you can actually land. If this were not so guided, we could pick somewhere besides the orange spot.
Engaging jump jets.
Yeah, it was
Jump
great.
jets obviously
Jump
create
jets
even
built
more
body.
heat than
That was more
running.
than your engine could handle. Head on into that water. We need to get you cooled off.
Jump jets are particularly useful in urban settings or areas with rough terrain, because all those buildings and all that stuff blocking your way will slow you down, and if you can jump over it, you're way more maneuverable.
Yep. But also, this is a scripted event. You can't use your jump jets for the end of the mission.
I'm looking at that mech in front of us, and it better not be what I think it is, because it does not exist yet if it is.
So yeah, basically, the refit yards did not do a great job patching up patching up the Blackjack. So we get to go use the Blackjack for one thing it is definitely not meant to use for, and do a melee attack.
We have no hands, but we can kick. Or we can tackle, I guess.
That is a panther.
Oh, thank you, merciful God. Because it looked like a wolfhound, and I was like, you better not. You did not exist until 3028. It's weird for a panther to be out here,
If
but
something
not
goes wrong
impossible.
today, I want to know that your mech can maneuver.
So let's see. Right now it keeps wanting me to melee the target.
Engaging missile attack.
Blackjack used headbutt.
It was super effective that time. So now it wants me to do the thing called sprint, which is another command down here. And when you are sprinting, you are evasive.
Full throttle.
And you may have noticed it when I was moving around a little bit, it said evasion or evasive or what have you. If you spend your time moving around every turn, you build up evasion points, which are kind of, in the game, they're kind of treated like an armor that have to be worn down before they can actually start hitting you.
It works a little differently in the tabletop game, but the faster your mech is, the harder it is to hit.
Display, Sir Raju. Of course, this mech warrior was a student of yours. I'd expect them to know their way around a cockpit.
Like, as much as I love a big chonky boy mech, light mechs definitely have their place. Courage, my brother, loves light mechs with a passion. When he wants to ruin my day in an intro tech game, he picks the JR7F Jenner, aka the Armored Jenner, which is supposedly very rare, but every tabletop player who uses the Jenner picks that one.
Yeah.
Bastards.
So Lady Victoria is not particularly happy with the responsibility she has because it's boring.
Gee, sure is boring around here.
Yep. You ever get the feeling you really want some excitement? And there's a tournament coming up where the gambling dens are taking bets on how long it'll take Kamea to cripple Victoria.
Akaga?
I think that's personal name for whatever mech she pilots.
I was about to say.
I am going to be ceaselessly amused by them calling us Bodybag the whole time, too.
It's pretty great.
Mission successful.
So yeah, the tutorial mission is not a big deal. You cannot fail it. There is no way for you to fail it. It
We
won't
will
even let
find
you
a way.
move in wrong places. They made that one as foolproof as possible.
Intense
I remember
cello
the
solo.
Oregon Reach of old, the time of the Great Expansion. I was just a boy then. Proudly we went forth, bringing the light of our coalition to so many systems.
There were like a
And
dozen.
for what? To see our great kingdom slowly waste away?
Your kingdom was never great.
Year after year, the Council deliberates while our economy falters.
The
And
whole
wolves
galaxy's in a
bay at
depression.
every door, while
Nobody
covetous
knows you
neighbors plot
exist.
against us. Well, I
The
say
Torians don't care about you.
go no further.
Everything
We're
about this
here today
speech is
because
literally
we
wrong.
will not act, someone must. I know what I'm asking of you. You will face former comrades, or even loved ones, on the battlefield. I take up arms against my own niece. But remember, today we sacrifice so that tomorrow we can return our kingdom to its proper
Actually, that
glory,
looks like a
to its
Wolverine.
proper strength. So should you fall tonight, know that you did so as true heroes of the Reach. To your stations!
So those things are drop ships. The way interstellar travel works is, you've got these big things that can punch through space called jump ships. They don't really move all that much, but they're the things that travel interstellar distance. Once they reach a system, they launch drop ships, which carry mechs, troops, people, aerofighters, that sort of thing, down to the planets.
And if you play MechWarrior 5, you see the cutscene of your dropship, or the carrier ship, whatever you want to call it, a lot. Every time you jump systems, you see it hook up to what looks like a big satellite, and then it just kind of warps out.
Yeah. Yeah, the big satellite is the jump ship. There are actually... So I'm going to be nerding out for a sec. So jump ships are basically big and stationary. There is a lost technology that allows for big, mobile, and combat-capable jump ships, warships. Everybody's kind of terrified of the possibility of them coming back, and in fact, a good portion of the Succession Wars was everybody destroying everybody else's capability to make those. So they're all extinct. Right? Right?
Until they're
Right?
not.
That's exactly what happens.
So it is loading up the next mission. While it is doing this, this actually marks a pretty decent spot to cut the video. When we come back, we will actually begin the first real mission of the game. Because it might take a little longer than 20 minutes.
Oh my god, that's a reference to MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries there.
Did I quote there?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, until we return, take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.